Welcome to our special presentation, this week titled The Golden Approach. My name is Todd Shaffer, Manager of Research for VectorVest, and I'll be your presenter this evening. If you've been watching our daily color guard reports, you know we received an entry signal for trading gold at the end of last week. What you might not have known is what to do with that information. Gold is attractive to investors as a store of value and safety in uncertain economic times, particularly to offset a weakening currency. Gold investing also presents a particular set of problems. It doesn't correlate consistently with the broader market movements, and it trades with some volatility. VectorVest solves that problem by applying our Midas Touch technique. And of course, it gets its name because it was designed to help us trade gold effectively. So that's a good place to start. Let's move into the program. Now permit me a moment while I take a quick diversion here. That daily color guard report, if you're not familiar with it, if you go to the timing tab, every day you can access the recording by clicking the link from the timing tab in the program. That's a daily color guard report we do where we review the market timing information, including the Huey information on Mondays. We also share our analysis and insights on broad market performance, as well as the best performing searches and stocks within the program. So let's talk about what we saw on our timing graph for gold. So we'll open up a graph tab, and we build our timing model on the Gold Bugs Index, which has a symbol HUI, the Huey Index. So we'll graph the Huey Index, and I have a graph layout that we've called the Midas Touch. You can select it from the drop-down list. Simply click on it, and you will have a graph that looks just like mine. So I'm going to add to this graph also our recommendation profile ribbon at the top. These are the buy, sell, hold ratings as derived by the analysis of the Huey price movements. But let's get the rest of the lay of the land. First, we have the price of the Huey Index itself. If we scroll lower, then we see we have two moving averages applied to that Huey price movement. Moving averages of the VectorVest stop price, both the 10 and 65-day moving average. And on our subgraph, a 40-day moving average of RT. Let's begin by just looking at the nature of the price action. If I take off our moving averages, and let's expand our window to include a little more time frame, we can see that we can have quite noisy price action in the Huey Index, and by extension, the gold markets. And so we apply these moving averages to help us smooth that price action and give us a better feel for the true direction of price. And it's relatively easy to see if I take off price that those moving averages do a pretty good job of keeping us on the right side of the gold market move. There are, of course, with any moving average study, there are periods where price was moving sideways where we'll see some oscillations of those crossovers. So it becomes important for us to try to mitigate or limit the number of those whipsaws, and so we use the confirming signal of the moving average of RT being above or below its neutral line of 1. So when we have a bullish crossover, that bullish crossover coupled with accelerating momentum or strengthening RT values is a confirmation of that move. Conversely, in falling or slowing price action, you'll see RT start to move back toward neutral or even cross into downtrend. So the crossovers are our signal. Starting from the left side here, we saw the bullish crossover of the moving averages and RT moving average crossing above 1. So that's our signal to go long. We saw a little oscillation of the moving averages. But then we had the bearish crossover of the moving averages confirmed by RT falling below 1. A quick oscillation here, but generally staying on the right side of the broader market move. And you see most recently, we just crossed back to the upside. I'll have to zoom in to get more clarity here. At the end of last week on the 16th, where we see we had a bullish crossover of the moving averages, and RT was above 1. The moving average of RT was above 1. So the official signal is generated with the crossovers, but you can see that we have other signals that are showing us or giving us a precursor to the actual signal. Here, for example, based on the price action, we saw the Huey index get a buy rating as price was accelerating far in advance of the actual crossover. Let's zoom back out to 1 year. We anticipated the bearish crossover with a sell rating. The prior upswing, if we scroll back even further, preceded by this bullish crossover with our buy rating here. And so you may remember on an index where we don't have fundamental analysis, the buy rating will be driven primarily by RT being above 1 and accelerating uptrend. So some short-term strengthening into eventually our signal. Adding a 5-period moving average to RT can then also show us periods where RT is accelerating, right? We got the bullish crossover of RT and the bearish crossover back below the 40-day moving average, showing us waning momentum. So periods of acceleration, deceleration, and acceleration to the downside, and then acceleration back to the upside. Let's take that off. And so finally, the most sensitive indicator leading up to that signal would be the price action itself. As price enters into uptrend, hitting higher highs and higher lows, we can use charting techniques as we would with any other stock, looking for trend or breakdown of trend where we failed to hit higher highs and higher lows, right? Consolidated in this time frame, a breakout of that consolidation into an accelerating uptrend, and ultimately the breakdown. Coming into the near time frame, let's come into 6 months, say, we can see the price action was in downtrend. That downtrend slowed as we put in ultimately our low. Let's put that on the graph. Ultimately, this was our 6-month low for this graphed time frame. Price action reversed by putting in a higher high, a higher low, consolidated for a little bit before breaking out again most recently. In that time frame, we picked up the buy rating as the system saw the rising price trend. And we got the crossover as we saw this past week. We'll look for confirmation of that trend if price action continues to advance, takes out that prior swing low, and continues to hit higher highs and higher lows, accelerating in its uptrend. So remember, we're not trading the Huey. We're simply using this as a timer for gold. And we're looking for evidence of continuation or continued strengthening trend, either to the up or downside, based on the timer. And now the timing signal has confirmed uptrend. What do we want to trade in the gold space? Our investment opportunities fall into two broad categories: those that are based on the commodity itself, and gold miners, gold mining businesses that center around extracting ore from the ground. So let's start there. The first place to go looking will be in our viewers, and let's go to our sector viewer. Gold miners are in the mining sector. If I right click on that and look at the industries within the sector, we want to focus on the gold and silver mining sector. So we'll right click here and show the stocks in that business sector. And here we can see that we do have gold and silver miners here. So if you want to focus on gold, then I suggest you right click on the stock itself, look at the analysis report, and in the business description, we describe what it is they explore. But we can also see by looking at their VST analysis that we don't necessarily have strong fundamentals in these players. Their VST score is primarily driven by RT. The old birds of a feather flock together. So if I cherry pick some of the gold miner names I'm more familiar with, take a look at their graphs. Let's study them with the same Midas Touch graph layout. We see a very similar price pattern. We had price dropping into the low that we put on the 23rd of September. Since then, price advanced, consolidated, and now has broken out again. We've got the crossover of our moving averages and the RT, and we have the buy rating within the VectorVest system. And we'll see similar patterns in the other stocks within the cohort. And so two that stuck out to me, Alamos Gold, in a much stronger price move, more volatility certainly. I also noticed that Eldorado Gold broke out to the new high. What a nice looking entry there. So in the context of the broader gold market move, I'm looking for stocks that on a swing basis, the graph analysis, look for good setups as swing trades. So that's how we can find gold mining stocks. Back to our viewers tab, but now let's go to our watch list viewer. Because we developed in our watch list offering under the ETFs group, gold ETFs. So this watch list is maintained by our database team and includes any ETFs that are connected to gold, either the commodity or the miners. If I sort by industry group, we see several industries represented, and in particular, it's scrolling to the bottom, ETF short, so contra ETFs for playing gold to the downside. And like any contra ETF, we can still buy them long. Scrolling back to the left, let's resort the list again by VST. Again, essentially an RT sort, as the RV and RS are both neutral on ETFs. So now we have the ETFs in the strongest upward price trends at the top of the list. With ETFs, though, and stocks too, I suppose, for that matter, we do want to make sure that we have average volumes that would assure liquidity. The other thing to know with ETFs is that many times those ETFs will include leverage. So we can have in the mix non-leveraged ETFs like GLD, 2x leveraged ETFs like UGL, or 3x leveraged ETFs like UGLDF. So again, you'll want to do a little homework. Right-click on the ETF in question, look at the stock analysis report, and it will indicate whether or not there is leverage involved. And here we see it's a 3 times leverage of the underlying for UGLDF. And that becomes important because the introduction of leverage also introduces more volatility. If we looked at a performance graph and we measured the performance of GLD and UGLDF side by side, you can see directionally they move together. However, the amplitude of the move much more exaggerated with the leverage. So a very exciting ride up for those triple leveraged instruments, but a pretty harrowing drawdown on the backside. And so the triple leveraged ETFs in particular become more of a day trading or a short-term trading tool, where if you have a longer time horizon, we suggest leaning toward the non-leveraged versions. If I take a look at a horizontal cursor, right, our non-leveraged version was up as much as 13 and as low as about 10, while the triple leveraged was up as high as 39 and as low as 36. So you can match the vehicle to your temperament. So we've looked at 2 manual ways to find candidates within the VectorVest system for our gold trades, both the industry viewer looking for gold miners and the watchlist viewer looking for gold-related ETFs. The third way to find candidates is to use the power of Unisearch to help us filter some of these lists. So let's click on the Unisearch tab and open the Unisearch tool. In the Unisearch directory, if you scroll down to Searches, Special Searches, open that group. And scroll down to the G's, you'll find several gold-related searches. Gold Bugs, Gold Digger, Gold Rush Bull, Good Gold Stocks. And these searches provide a great foundation from which to work. So Good Gold Stocks looks for stocks whose price is greater than $5, has liquidity with average volume over 100,000 shares, and they're within the mining gold silver industry. So this will focus on gold miners. Our sort is VST times CI, so the strongest combination of VST and Comfort Index, price persistence, divided by actual price. So strong combination of VST and CI at a low price. Let's run the search. Let's get ourselves a little more real estate here if I slide our toolbar over. And looking at the results, we recognize some of the names we saw from our manual cherry picking list: Yamana, Centerra, McEwen, Eldorado, etc. If we scroll to the right, we were looking for the best combination of VST and CI at the lowest price. That custom value is displayed in the first column. Our top listed candidates having a good session today. Remember, we got our signal on the 16th. So let's see how they've done since the evening of our crossover. We'll run the search again. And let's quick test the top 10. So as a basket, 8 winners, 2 losers, up 3.6% relative to the market's move of 1.13 on the SPX. So outperforming the market, even though we did have a little bit of pullback in gold after that original signal. Remember, we also had that first buy rating, which was back on 10/4. So if we roll our date back to 10/4 and quick test the top 10, up 12.2% versus the market's 5.6. So they're certainly performing in the current time frame, and we're still early in the move. But I also wanted to demonstrate how, with some creative use of filtering, we can customize this search to the kinds of stocks that you want to trade. So let's change our filter now. Instead of looking at the mining gold-silver industry, let's filter our stocks by watch list, and we'll choose the ETFs folder and find our gold ETFs watch list. So now we'll run our search and we'll find only candidates that meet these criteria: $5, 100,000 shares average volume, that are in the gold ETFs watch list. But remember, that includes both contras and all leverages. And let's bring that date back up to current, so we can see what we would have found today. And I notice there are a couple contra ETFs, so I scroll to the right. There are a couple contra ETFs near the top of the list. So let's filter those guys out by adding another line. We'll filter stocks by industry group is not ETF short. So this will eliminate any contra ETFs from the search result. Run it again. And now if we scroll to the right, we eliminated those contras. But you say, what about those triple leveraged guys? What can you do about those? Well, let's create another filter. We're going to filter by watch list again, and we can either indicate what they're in or what they're not in. So by saying does not equal, So we want to eliminate any of these ETFs that are triple leveraged or maybe even twice leveraged. Run the search. And now we're left with ETFs that are priced over $5, have over 6 figures average volume, and are not contra ETFs. And run the search. We'll quick test the top 10 from here. Performing a little better, but non-leveraged, underperforming the market. So those non-leveraged issues, a little slower performing. Let's try a variation of that theme and remove or add back in the 2x leveraged versions. We'll run that search. Quick test the top 10. We see an improvement here up to 4.69. If we like that approach, we can bring our date back to current. Run that search and then cherry pick from the list of returns those that have the best graph patterns using our Midas Touch layout, which might include both our recommendation profile and the 5MA on our T. And let's favor the stocks that are putting in a higher high and a higher low, have garnered a buy rating, and the 5 is operating above the 40 moving averages on our T. If you'd like to develop better skills at reading graphs and developing your entry and exit signals on those graphs, then I'd highly recommend our Precision Swing Trading course that is forming now. You can look for a link to it in the views. In closing, a few final thoughts. We're not suggesting that you would fully invest your portfolio in gold, but in uncertain economic times, gold is attractive as a storehouse of value and safety, and can be appropriate for your portfolio. But fitting with the VectorVest philosophy, there is a right and a wrong time to be investing in gold. And VectorVest solves that problem by analyzing it all with our Midas Touch technique. Thanks for watching.
Hey VV Nation, Glenn Tompkins here. And guess what? Everyone loves a deal. So here at VectorVest, we're offering you our Black Friday deal right now from November 14th through to November 26th. It's a 99-cent trial to the VectorVest software. So what do you get for that? You get a 30-day risk-free trial to the VectorVest system. You can have scans to find the best stocks for you, how you invest in the market. We're going to show you how to time the market. That's right, time the market. You have access to over 18,000 stocks globally. We're going to give you free training, and the best news of it all, it's a money-back guarantee. You need to go to www.vectorvest.com/99 to take advantage of this Black Friday special, and you want to do it now.